Alhamdulillah. The chapter of Salah we continue. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما بين المشرق والمغرب قبلة أخرجه الترمذي وقواه البخاري. ما بين المشرق والمغرب قبلة هذا لأهل المدينة وما كان جهة قبلته وما كان جهة قبلته مثل جهة أهل المدينة، ومدينة في شمال مكة، فإذا توجه أهلها إلى الجنوب يصير المغرب عن يمينهم والمشرق عن يسارهم، فتكون قبلتهم ما بين هاتين الجهتين. المعنى أن المصلي إذا كان بعيدا عن القبلة لا يلزمه استقبال عينها، فإنه متعذر أو عسير جدا، وإنما يكفي له أن يتوجه إلى جهتها، ويكون لأهل سائر البلدان من الساعة مثل ما لأهل المدينة. This is very important because it talks about facing the Qibla, and that is one of the conditions of the Salah, right? But it also tells us that it's very easy really to face the Qibla, and we can solve a lot of problems by understanding this hadith. Prophet ﷺ says to people of Medina that your Qibla extends all the way between the east to the west. The Medina is here north of Mecca. Mecca is here, Medina is here. And here's west and here's east. So they're looking south to Mecca. Prophet ﷺ tells them that all this 180 degrees is a Qibla. And this is important because sometimes people build a masjid and they find that it's off maybe by 10 or 20 degrees. Some people demolish masajid after they started making it because of that. They say, it's off Qibla a little bit. And then some people, they say, okay, we cannot demolish it. Then they make the lines like this, sideways. And they waste so much space in the masjid. And already the mihrab is in here like this, and they start not using the mihrab anymore. They make the imam stand over that corner. We see that happening, right? So this tells us that when you're far away, when you're facing Mecca, when you're in the Kaaba and you can see the Kaaba, you have no choice but to face the Kaaba. You have to get to it directly because that's easy. The further you move out, all you have to do is direct yourself towards the direction of the Kaaba. So for us here in Canada, we look east. And our Qibla يكون ما بين الشمال إلى جنوب قبلة. If we direct ourselves directly east, we're facing the Qibla. Northeast, we're facing the Qibla. Southeast, we're facing the Qibla. So you just direct yourself to that direction. You follow that? And that is why when the hadith, the hadith of not facing the Qibla and not giving your back to the Qibla when you're using the bathroom. Remember that hadith? Yes. Prophet ﷺ said to the people, وَلَكِنْ شَرِّقُوا أَوْ غَرِّبُوا. People of Medina as well. Look to the west or to the east. Meaning that when you deviate away from the Qibla when you're using the bathroom, he said you have to go all the way to the east or all the way to the west. Why did he say all the way to the east or all the way to the west? Because the Qibla extend all this. This is all Qibla. So that hadith goes with this hadith. This tells you that when he says شَرِّقُوا أَوْ غَرِّبُوا, لم يقل انحرفوا, ولم يقل just انحرفوا. He didn't say just انحرفوا, meaning that turn a little bit. No, he says go all the way to the east or go all the way to the west. Should we take one more hadith? Today's Friday? Okay. وعن عامر بن ربيعة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يصلي على راحلته حيث توجهت به. متفق عليه. زاد البخاري يومئ برأسه ولم يكن يصنعه في المكتوبة. ولأبي داود من حديث أنس وكان إذا سافر فأراد أن يتطوع استقبل بناقته القبلة فكبر ثم صلى حيث كان وجهه ركابه وإسناده حسن. This is also makes our life very easy. This hadith, understanding this hadith makes our life very easy. Prophet ﷺ used to make salah while he's riding his camel. Make salah. When he is on any journey, traveling, they say whether long or short, doesn't have to be a long distance. Masafat al-Qasr doesn't have to be short or long journey. He used to make salah. Make use of his time in salah. And رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يصلي على راحلته حيث توجه به. And here That's not for the maktuba, not for the 5 prayers, obligatory prayers. That's nawafil. That is voluntary prayers, optional prayers you do, and you don't have to face the Qibla. So certain situations you don't have to face the Qibla. This is one of them. When you're traveling and you want to make salah, sunnah, just sunnah. You do your witr, you do your sunnah, you do any duha, any rak'at other than the 5 obligatory prayers. You can pray towards any direction. Whatever direction your rahila, the thing you are riding is, if you're in a plane, whatever direction. If you're in a car or in a bus, whatever direction. Okay, as long as, of course, you pay attention to the road. Right? You cannot do it. if you're going to expose yourself and others to dangers, you're not allowed to do that.
When it's not a part, you know the direction you're going.
Salat part will come to it. So this is one of the conditions where you don't have to face the Qibla. Do we have another condition where you don't have to face the Qibla?
The war.
هذا sunnah. I'm talking about sunnah.
Just sunnah.
You said the war. That is true.
لكن هذا مش السنة فقط يعني.
Yeah. During war, where you cannot face the Qibla, you're chasing the adu. Adu is chasing you. You're chasing the enemy. The enemy is chasing you. You can pray any kind of salah, sunnah or fard. Obligatory prayer or sunnah, in any direction. You can even be running and praying, if you can. Right? So that's another condition. There's another condition where you don't have to face, when you don't have to face the Qibla. Just cannot recall it right now.
I think only 2.
No, there's another condition where you don't have to face. No. When you cannot face the Qibla, when you are sick, some people are sick, cannot move. Okay, and no one is there to move them to the direction of the Qibla, for instance. They can pray, and of course, if you tried your best and you didn't know the Qibla, you pray to any direction as well, right?
Okay. You have to do your best to get the Qibla right.
We talked about this. Were you here yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, we talked about this yesterday. Yes, you have to do your best. If you don't do your best, you have to repeat the salah. Okay. And then how does he make the salah? Just like the marid. Just salat al-marid. When you're praying, when you're sick, you just go down, and this for ruku', and you go down further for sujood, right? This is how you do the salah. Anas ibn Malik mentions the same hadith, but he mentions something in addition to this. He says, Prophet ﷺ initially, at the beginning of the prayer, he directed his camel towards the Qibla, and then he started the prayer, and then he let the camel go whatever direction. Some scholars say only Anas ibn Malik mentioned this hadith, that he did that. And many people saw Prophet ﷺ do the sunnah on the camel. They never mentioned that he started by facing the Qibla first and then directed whatever it went. So you can do this or you cannot do this. If you want to be on the safer side, do it this way if you can. You can direct yourself first towards the Qibla and then whatever it is. But if you cannot do that, you cannot do it. Can you do this if you're not traveling, just in town? Some scholars say you can, some scholars say you cannot. But many very strong scholars do this. They do it even in town. Can you do this in the fard? Can you do it in the fard? You're not supposed to do it in the fard. But what if you're stuck? What if you're stuck on a plane? And the plane is going towards the west. Going west. Coming from home. Coming from the Middle East going to Canada.
If you cannot best the Qibla, just face anywhere.
Exactly. If you're stuck in the plane and you cannot face the Qibla, you pray sitting in any direction. You pray sitting in any direction. Prophet ﷺ one time, they were traveling. I can bring you the hadith. One time they were traveling and they were going between 2 mountains. It was very narrow. And it was raining. And water was flowing on the bottom, like a small creek was flowing. And it was raining on top of them. So he prayed the fard with the Sahaba, and they were all on their camels. He went to the front. He went all the way to the front. Did he normally ride in the front or normally where? What did he normally ride? See, the very back. The very back. The very back. His habit was to ride in the very back. And anyone who falls behind, he would catch up with him and help him. That is how he used to do it. And that is why actually when his wife Aisha got lost, They were already in the very back. So when the army moved, she was left behind. There was no one behind until this other man came, Safwan ibn Mu'attal. He was the one who came and found her in the desert alone. So he went all the way to the front, and he made takbir, and they all did the salah with him while they were on the camels. So when we are in the plane and we cannot, try to stand up in the plane nowadays. What will happen? What will happen?
Muslim Airlines, I think they have...
The only Saudi Airlines. You can do it if you're in Saudi Airlines.
PIA they do also.
What?
PIA they do also.
PIA, what's PIA? Pakistani? Yeah, that's good. If you're on an airplane that allows you space to pray and you can face the Qibla, they tell you actually, then that's fine. It's Saudi Airlines. Or if you're traveling inside the Middle East, people know what you're doing, and there's some space where you can stand and pray. Better for you to do it this way. But no. If you're traveling between Egypt and Syria, for instance, everyone knows what you're doing, right? But now there's paranoia. If they suspect you are a Muslim, just suspect you are a Muslim, you might be in trouble. If you open the Quran, if you open the Quran and read, they might think something is going to happen. We can do it this way. Any question about this? So this really makes our life easy. These two hadith.